Today's lesson is on section 8.1, apply exponent properties involving products. We've learned about powers and exponents already this year, a certain type of expression that has repeated multiplication. And sometimes the answer doesn't necessarily want us to evaluate and find some big number for it. It just wants us to simplify the problem and write our answer using exponents. This is what directions might say today. So looking at a problem here and breaking it apart, how this may work. What I've got here is I've got 3 to the third times 3 squared. Now we've learned in the past what exponents mean. 3 to the third means repeated multiplication of the number 3. It means I'm going to take the number 3 and multiply it by itself 3 times. Well, then this also says I'm going to multiply this times 3 squared, which would be 3 times itself 2 more times. And as I look at what the problem really breaks apart to be here, I end up just with the fact that I'm multiplying the number 3 by itself 5 different times. So what I can do is I could rewrite this as a power and say this is really just 3 to the 5th power. Well, noticing that we had 3 to the third times 3 squared, can you make a connection with how I can just jump then right to 3 to the 5th, which is my final answer? There's a property that says we can make this connection and just take our original problem and jump right to 3 to the 5th. And what happens is, as you may be able to tell already, 3 times 3 to the third times 3 to the second, my two exponents, what I'm doing is adding those together, because it's like I'm taking 3 3's and multiplying them together, and then 2 3's and multiplying them together. So total, I'm taking 5 3's and multiplying them together. So that's why it's like 3 to the 5th. I can write it that way. So instead of actually doing that whole problem the way I did, instead I can just simplify it immediately and say, well, 3 to the third times 3 squared really is just 3 to the 5th, just by adding those two exponents together. There's a name for this property. It's called the product of powers rule. And with some algebra there, it says if I have any number and it's the same base number in both of my powers that I'm multiplying together, I can just keep that same base and add the two exponents together to get my result. So going through a few examples, again, the directions may say something like simplify, write your answer using exponents. What we can do is this property tells us that if we have the same base number, like in number 1 here, 4 to the 6 times 4 squared, I can simplify that and just write 4 to the 8th power. It's the exact same answer that I would get if I evaluated those out. No matter how big the number is, 15 to the 14th times 15 to the 26th, I can just add the exponents together and keep that same base, and that would be 15 to the 40th. And same thing, even if my base is a variable, r to the 9th times r to the 11th, that is the same as simplifying that and writing r to the 20th power.